Well, I've been summoned yet again. We return to BioShock for probably not the last time. But yes, admittedly, I have now currently been in the mood to play some BioShock. However, we are playing one of the versions I have not, I think, ever done on this channel or anywhere for that matter. We are playing the original PC version of BioShock. And of course, with no surprise, we're going to play on hard. Because why not? Am I going to disable Vita Chambers? I could. It wouldn't mean much, but I could do it if I so chose. The thing is, this game does not have achievements. So even if I was to do it, it really wouldn't matter. It would just be more of a pride thing. Although, to be fair, sure, let's do that. Let's disable Vita Chambers. But yeah, my friend is doing a BioShock Let's Play of his own. And I was like, God damn it. Now I want to play BioShock again. If you guys know me, or maybe you don't, if you're new here, BioShock is my favorite game. And nowadays I say my favorite game by proxy. I say that about a lot of things. Although, except for my favorite anime, that doesn't matter. When it comes to games, like, I play a lot of games a lot of the time. So a lot of the time, my current favorite thing to play could be different from anything I've played before. But BioShock will always potentially remain the strongest of my favorite games, no doubt. And it used to be Spyro, and I think before that it probably would have been Crash. But I think that was before I even discovered the idea of favoritism toward games anyway. So yeah. We're also doing a BioShock. I'm doing a BioShock. I misspoke. I meant to say I'm doing a BioShock on my channel as well. And if you were here before, I did actually do... Hang on, let me turn some things off. I'm pretty sure it's probably pretty low. I wouldn't be surprised. Where is it? I think you have to turn them off at the main menu. Yeah. That's fine. I don't see it anywhere, so that's fine. Wouldn't be in the graphics setting either. So, what I could do is I could just make a save, and if I happen to die and get spawned into a Vita chamber, I can just say, fudge all that noise, and reload from save. Then it'll basically be like me using no Vita chambers. Look at that. Look at that beautiful sky. Now, it does kind of suck whenever I move. It does kind of make the moon flicker, but that's okay. And yes, oh, look at that. The door's wide open for us. Perfect. Now the question is, which one am I going today? We have art, and we have science. And of course, Andrew Ryan's big, fat, egotistical head. Well, and a big giant V for Armored Core 5, because he's a big Armored Core fan. Good on him, though. You know, that's a tough one. Let's see, we have the science direction, and we have the art direction. And sometimes, depending on my playthroughs... Oh, and I always tend to forget that industry exists too, but we're kind of stuck doing that one regardless. I always sometimes go left with science, because I'm going against, not necessarily art, but instead, I'm not trying to defile art, I guess. I'm not trying to defile science either, but I have this weird sort of strange superstition that if I go on the right side, that my playthrough might be fucked up because I'm going against art in some strange way if I walk down that path. I don't know. I mean, think of it like, you know, when you visit a shrine in Japan and they have that we're not allowed to walk in the middle path because that's where the gods walk, and it's disrespectful if you were to do that. So I kind of have, I guess, sort of like a psychological thing with my playthrough in some, not exactly the same exact regard, because, you know, obviously that's not the same exact thing, but To some extent, I have the same kind of feeling like, oh, if I go that way, might not be a good one. Might be a no-no. Because I like my art. I like art stuff. I'm a big art guy. You know? I quite enjoy the art stuff. Also, if you are at all interested in the game's story in any regard whatsoever, if you've never seen this game be played, I'm going to warn you right now. I am going to talk over cutscenes. We probably won't even have subtitles on. I thought we did. Either way, this will be just a normal roundabout playthrough. If I had the option to skip cutscenes, I would have done so long while ago. But yes, if you are at all anywhere interested in this game's story, and by the way, I understand that for a lot of people, especially nowadays, it's not that crazy of a story or anything like that. It's nothing too spectacular. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's good, but there are people out there that do kind of act like this is an absolute masterpiece. And as much as I love this game, nothing to me is a masterpiece. I think that everything should strive to be in a specific way to somebody, but I don't think that everything's perfect. So therefore, of course, BioShock, therefore it's not a masterpiece. So enough about the random, weird, almost BioShock-like talking I'm doing here, because I sound like a fool right now. I sound like a splicer going off, or maybe even Atlas, just not even him, but you know, some character, just like Ryan or something, like just going off talking about, you know, the dump they took in the urinal 5 seconds ago and how great and legendary it looked like. I'm not that, you know, type. Let's go back into the regular, just old-fashioned talking about what I normally do. Talking about people getting sucked up, vacuumed up inside of somebody else's urethra, and just the usual content that I give you, that I'm known for, I guess, on this channel, or whatever. So speaking of masterpiece stuff, let's go into a little bit of a rant and ramble, because that's what I do. I know this game like the back of my hand. I can pretty much just, glide through it pretty easily. So let's find something to talk about. I had this, because I brought up the masterpiece thing, I had this thought in my head the other day, and by the way, I want to let everybody know that my IQ is at least regular, room temperature, so don't listen to me too hard, I guess. But there's two separate types of content that I've been seeing. No. Let me back up a little bit. Let me give you some context. I found this video that was shitting on the new Resident Evil game. I know some people are probably tired of hearing me talk about it. My opinions about the new Resident Evil game is I like it. I quite like it. I'm now on my third playthrough. However, I will admit that I am slowing down on it. I am getting a little bit tired of it, but that's Resident Evil. I mean, I'll play the other ones and be fine. So it's not a big deal. I like it personally, but it might not be for everybody, and I understand that. I do much prefer the Leon sections, so that's pretty normal. I mean, I always just prefer the Leon stuff. Normally, I like 7 and 8, especially 8. I think 8 did a really good job at Ethan combat. Grace is fine, but she's definitely got that LA voice actor type thing going on. I'm not going to spoil anything for you guys. I'm not going to ruin anything for you. Outside of the trailer. Like, you guys pretty much already know and have seen the trailer for stuff. Yeah, here's how you basically dodge splicers. You can dodge splicers. And speaking of Resident Evil, it's kind of in the same concept when you think about it. You sort of just walk in, or even Silent Hill for that matter, any sort of survival horror game. Because at the end of the day, BioShock is a survival horror, even though it's not remotely scary, but oh well, I guess the idea of it is more scary than the actual scares themselves. But that's fine. When you give a guy a big giant gun and crazy cool powers and you can shoot freaking lightning out of your freaking arms. I sound like a Reddit mob there. I can feel my chin growing as I say that. Of course it takes away a lot of the horror aspect. So the context was, going back to the video I was talking about, somebody was completely just having a very negative opinion about RE9. And there's nothing inherently wrong about that. It just made me think, a lot of these people will just have a strong opinion, whether it be RE9 is a masterpiece or RE9 is dog shit, and then they'll upload a video, like an hour-long video of them just talking about how dog shit it is or how much of a masterpiece it is. And that's something I wanted to mention was personally, I don't really like those types of videos on either side. I'm not trying to be like a fence sitter or whatever. I'm just saying that I do find both kind of a little condescending and kind of annoying sometimes. Like, okay, I get it. You don't like the game. That's fine. You don't have to make an entire hour-long video talking about it and just going off about how shitty the game is. Or how much you think it's shitty, I guess. But, I mean, it's YouTube. Like, anybody can do whatever. Yes, of course. I'm just saying, like, that's just something that popped in my feed, and I'm like, ugh, I don't want to see that personally. So, I sound like a loser, but it's just how it is. Like, I don't want to see either. Like, I don't really care much. I mean, granted, you know, sometimes, like, if I like a game, there are those times where I'll click on either video and be like, oh, great. What'd they say this time? You know. But, like I said, I don't even agree with the masterpiece aspect of it either. And that's what I think I want to talk about mainly, is, like, I don't think RE9 is an absolute perfect game, but, hey, I liked it. And like I said, with BioShock, it's the same thing. Like, there's somebody out there, this game's a masterpiece. And that's fine, you know. But I don't think anything truly is. Although, I mean, to some extent, like Mario 64, even though I have grown quite tired of it, I still kind of look at that with very positive outlook on what it created and what it did. So if anything, like, I guess to some extent I could probably consider Mario 64 as I can't really consider it a masterpiece. I'd say it's more like a revolutionary type thing. It definitely was definitely neat and needed to come out and was very cool. So I'm glad that it came out. And the same thing with BioShock. I'm glad it came out. Let's stop with the negative talk. Just about anything, really, because it just kills me, man. It's funny. I hate hating. Yeah, this is pretty much how you deal with slugs. Did I say slugs? What I was trying to go for was like slugger type enemies, but you already know what they're called. They're called thugs. I don't know. Brain kind of tiny today. I mean, I do have like a nice can of beer next to me, so that might have some effects on nothing really at all. Look, man, I was craving it. Okay, I don't drink beer like often. Not that I never do, but I barely ever do. So let a brother have at least a sip of something every once in a while that isn't just rotting my teeth to the core. Let me show you guys something kind of funny. I think I've shown this off before a couple of times. Look at that. I almost did no damage. Wouldn't that be nuts? Something funny. You don't have to do this, but it's just something kind of slightly interesting. But you see the Freddy Krueger guy down there. You can go ahead and pop one right in his ass. Or maybe not. Okay, there we go. I wasted all those bullets for basically nothing. I need to move the mic because it's taking up half the screen. I can't see where my bullet count is. But where we're going, we don't need Revolver. Because if you know my channel pretty well, you might be familiar with my secondary channel, Hardcorian Guides, where I play games on hard. I haven't done it in the marathon yet. I've been doing like a marathon of the games I've already done before on hard. For the first generation of games I've done, I'm still planning on hopefully doing the second generation at some point. Don't know how soon it will be, but point is that I have done a wrench-only run before. But I will admit that it wasn't completely wrench-only. I did use plasmids because I had asked my audience what they think I should do, if they care or not, either way. And at the time, the poll winner was that, yeah, we're fine if you use plasmids. That's not a big deal. You know, whatever. It's still wrench only, but now with plasmids. And I kind of blame well, of course I do, but I should have been smarter about it. About either titling it better or thumbnailing it better. Because I did get, called out for not having anywhere specified that it was with plasmids. However, I do think that I did in the very first episode, frankly titled, Welcome to Rapture, as it would be called, because this is the first level, technically. I'm pretty sure I might have said at some point that, yes, I did take a poll, and people voted for it, and they said that they were okay with it, so I don't know. I'll have to go back and watch my previous content to find that quote, if it's even true. I feel like it is, but I've said it so much in, future videos, but to be fair, it doesn't really matter. No one really should care all that much. I'm thinking about doing a redux of it at some point in the future and just doing an actual full-on no plasmids, because I'm gonna be real with you guys. The plasmids, they don't yeah, they help, but it only helps to a certain extent. It mainly just only helps with big daddies, but even then, you could take down a big daddy with wrench jockey and armored shell and electroshock. If you really wanted a try and true, complete and total wrench only run with no tonics, no plasmids, I think that would be quite difficult. I do really think that would actually be quite difficult and would be something worth, maybe a little worth trying out sometime. But I have a thing with me in my other channel where if I find a challenge to be tedious and boring, then I'm probably just not gonna want to try that. Because to me, there's a certain extent of where difficulty goes, and if something is just tedious and not fun, then it's, tedious and not fun. And I know for some people it's who cares about the fun aspect? You gotta prove that you can do it. You know what I mean? You gotta show off that you have the capability of doing that challenge run. And that's the thing, though, too, is, if I give myself time, I probably could do it. I would have to learn every possible dodge that I can, or whatever, to, deal with enemies and what have you. Especially, the final boss. Now, the final boss, you can beat relatively fine without... What the hell am I doing? Okay, sorry, my right button wasn't working very well there. You can beat the final boss without yeah, you kind of, sort of... You can beat the final boss without plasmids. So he's, the only thing that I can think of that doesn't matter. But the problem is, the big daddies, like I said, and having no tonics is just going to make it a nightmare. I'm not trying to say, oh, well, I'll never do it, I'll never try for it, or whatever. It's the same thing with plasmids only. I've considered that before in the past. I'm so bad today. I've considered that in the past. But I feel like even that would just be kind of boring, too. Not because it would be too difficult. I'm sure it would be actually pretty difficult. I do think that it would net a lot of challenge. However, like I said, I think it would be kind of boring and it would take away some of the fun from me. And that's part of why I want to do that for. And funny enough, I would argue one of my most boring ones I've ever done for a guide, I know I'm talking about guide stuff on this video, but one of my most boring ones I can probably think of would be Wolverine. But not because I played Wolverine. It's just my commentary, man. I should have split that thing into two parts per chapter, but I didn't. I fell into the trap of just sticking with it. And also, just to make this clear, I beat God Hand on hard, and I beat Vanquish on God hard. Games that are difficult, they don't scare me away too much. I've beaten the Ninja Gaidens and stuff like that. So, like I've said, it's just a matter of tedium. And I feel like, as cool as a God Hand hard kick me sign run would be. That might be a little bit out of my league for now, which is not actually true, because the whole point of me beating Godhand on hard was to prove that I could do anything, so I should just remember that. I don't mean to show off, I'm not trying to do that, I'm just trying to say, like, you know, anybody can do anything as long as they figure out what they need to do, or whatever. Like, I'm sure if I gave myself some time and I learned it, I could probably give it a shot, and so can you. And see, that's the thing, though, too, it's like, I don't want to come off like a massive douche when I say that. I don't want people to think, like, oh, he's only specifically talking about himself because he thinks he's cool. No, like, anybody can do it. You just gotta learn the ins and outs of things, and there you go. And I've seen plenty of people do, like, kick me sign runs and, you know, fight the final boss with a kick me sign run, no upgrade. No damage, no upgrade, that's insane. Stuff like that's really cool. Anything's possible. Hell, even me doing a Pokemon Nuzlocke is possible, but I probably won't. Because that's another case of I don't have any sort of feelings toward doing it. Or really any good know-hows either. Like, I don't remember all the specifications, what you're supposed to do. All the time. I know it's like one Pokemon per route kind of thing. You're only allowed, like, to get one new one every route or something. Right there, just to explain real quick, I'm attacking them early. This is something I don't normally do. But I was attacking them early just to kind of get the security bot to do his job and help me shoot these guys down. You don't need to use guns for this, although they give you the machine gun for it. I mean, wrench works just fine, because wrench is one of the strongest weapons. And it's funny, when I was opening this up on Steam, because yes, I am playing the Steam version. I do actually have the original copy on Windows. However, my computer does not have a CD drive. So, I don't have a way to actually physically play it on my computer. Hell, even my new laptop, I don't think even has a CD drive either. My old one does, so I can probably whip it on there at some point, but screen's kind of broken. I need to use another screen for that. Like an actual monitor for it. Which I do have, of course, just have it sitting around, you know. And plus, it's kind of an old computer. Oh, that wasn't... I said laptop. Well, I have an old laptop, yeah, but I have a old-ass computer over there that I've had... I don't know how long I've had that, some bitch. 2014. I remember specifically because that day when I was going to get that computer... I think I got it on sale. And, around the same time, I also got South Park: The Stick of Truth. I don't know if I got it the same day when it came out, or what, specifically, but I know that when I was getting a computer, I got that around the same time. Same day or same week, I don't know. I don't remember. That's why I remember it, because, you know, 2014 being, well, the year of South Park: Stick of Truth. Yeah, I don't know. Sometimes bots just have specifically odd buyout things for them. I don't know what the... Yeah, I know I'm supposed to be the BioShock guy, but even I don't really know fully what the exact reason, the exact thought process of why that one would cost 10 and the one outside would cost 40, but if I had to guess, and this has just always been kind of a... Well, it's just more of like a guess now, I should say. Specifically is, that because it has a choke point, and it's not really kind of in a 360... I don't like 360, I was like... you know, the one outside has like a better view of things, so that's probably why it cost 40. But I'm going to be real with you, I'm not sure if the BioShock devs thought that long and hard about things like this, about putting specific things everywhere. I'm not really sure, I'm not a dev. I've always kind of had my own clues and theories about what they did, but that's about it. And speaking of which, since we're playing BioShock, I think it's a good time as any to talk about something slightly interesting. The Judas game that's being made by none other than Ken Levine himself. I wonder if, it should be. I'll check that later. But, yes, our lovely, beloved creator of BioShock, so to speak, is, well, he's been working on a new game. We had the announcement, I think it was just a teaser back in the day, but earlier this weekend, I saw another trailer for it. And I gotta be honest with you, if you know, once again, if you know me pretty well, I'm not a big Infinite fan. I think that the story in Infinite was not that great. I especially don't really care for Elizabeth as much. I think she's kind of annoying. And other things, too, about Elizabeth. It's mainly just Elizabeth, let's be real. I keep wanting to hit down and circle, or in this case, down and B, to quick turn. I'm playing too much Requiem. I got something to say about that again as well in a second. But, yeah, I saw the trailer, and I'm going to be honest with you, this new character, the way she talks and acts gives off massive Elizabeth vibes, and I am not going to like that. Now, funny enough, I was actually watching it with my friend, and he did say something that, you know, does make sense. Like, who knows? Maybe the gameplay would be good. And he's not wrong about that. There is a chance that the gameplay will be good, but I mean, because, like, in all fairness, like, I don't even hate Infinite's gameplay as much. It's mostly just a story. I don't mind the gameplay too much. I keep repeating myself, I know, over and over and over again. But it's true. I just don't like that character, that's all. I find her quite annoying. It took me years, and I mean years, to start actually liking the Lutece characters. Even remotely thinking that they're interesting. I'm sure some people might be like, oh my god, how can you not? Like, they're so interesting and so cool and funny or whatever. I mean, I don't know if I would go that far. I mean, interesting, sure. I mean, slightly funny, yeah, but I don't know. It's just one of those things where I had a huge bias back then, and it's definitely calmed down nowadays. Like, if you asked me back in the day, you know, what I thought about... There it is. There's your fun little texture glitch. Look at that. Pretty cool, huh? It's not supposed to be there, but it is. It still is. Still is in the remaster, too. Pretty cool, huh? Bet you didn't know that. I'm just kidding. Everyone and their mother knew that. Everything about BioShock's already been talked about to death. I don't need to talk about it anymore. I'm sure Game Theory probably did, like, tons of videos on it back in the day. I'll keep that around, just in case. We're not gonna... Or I should say, we are probably gonna fight Big Daddies, because we are just on hard. We're not on anything too crazy. So, before that, I'm gonna go ahead and melt just basically everything real quick. Even though there's really no point, but I'm really just wasting time. Yeah, kind of, but I'm also just trying to have my fun, too. Check this out. I know the code by heart. I don't know all the codes in this game by heart, but I know a couple. Well, it was 0451. And now no one will believe me. No one will believe that I know that code by heart. God damn it. Well, there it is. It's right here. It's a, I forget where else it's used at, but it's a reference to other games that have used it in the past. This should just be a thug, which is good because leadheads are really obnoxious. And as you can tell, well, they're still quite healthy enough to take down. Also, watch out when you come back down here, because you will have to deal with a turret. And honestly, I might as well just skip the little bastard this time and not fudge with him, because who cares? He gets me nothing. I'm never coming back in here, so why do I care? Alright, so the doctor friend, sometimes it's kind of weird how this fella works. Sometimes he'll appear, like, you know, he goes right inside there. sometimes he'll appear on the other side and attack you, and other times he probably won't. It's weird how to get him to trigger. Okay, I was wondering about that. I was a little concerned. Not gonna lie. Alright, so we pretty much covered about, I'd say... Okay, actually, I'm not gonna lie. That's the first time in... How long's it been since I've been playing this game? God, I don't know. I've been playing since, like, at least 2008. Like, I know PS3 version came out in 2007. No, 360 did. PS3, I'm pretty sure it came out in 2008. Don't quote me on that. I should know that, but that doesn't mean that I'm always right. But the Windows version should have come out in like 2007, I believe. And I got my first ever copy on PS3. That's where I first played it at. And when I first played the game, I was a little bit more scared of it. I was like, oh, what if, like, oh, you know, the Big Daddies, like, they're really scary, like, you know, it might kill me. But then, like, after playing it one time, I got so used to it that I don't think this game has ever startled me since. And I'm not going to lie to you. Not going to lie to you. I'm going to go in there soon. We'll do this real quick. They actually got me to jump there. Yeah, I'm surprised too. I never... Honest to God, I never get jumped in this game. Jump scared. I think I've just been on edge because I've been playing too many goddamn horror games. So my instinct now is just to be freaked out that something just popped out of nowhere and attacked me. That I didn't expect. Which is funny because I should know that that splicer would be out there because every time you run into that area, one spawns on the outside again, so... Yeah, I've played this game that many times that I just kind of understand the spawns too. It's insane. You get used to it, and that should be just about everybody. I can't hear the game, so yeah, that's why I thought. I can't exactly hear the game going on right now, so I wouldn't be able to tell you. I know I'm just skipping crap. Don't worry, it's fine. This fella knows what he's doing. I know what I'm doing. Shut up. Alright, worst part is that we're going to be stuck with 2 plasma slots for just a little while. At least until we get to, well, you know, a guy that's God. I'm such a fucking moron. There we go. Well, the thing is, there's no plasmid slot at the first gatherers. There shouldn't be. But again, you know, knowing me, I may have forgotten a thing or two. I wouldn't be surprised. I am getting older, and forgetting things seems to be a common trait amongst people who happen to age over the course of time. So, you know, it's a very common thing to happen. I don't know if you all are familiar with that or not, but, by the way, turrets do stop shooting. And what I mean by that is, they have, you know, certain amounts of things that they'll, whatever, they'll stop shooting for a bit, have like a cooldown, that kind of thing. Make sure you unlock this door if you want to come back in here. I don't remember if I ever got scared the first time I played this game by this guy. And hey, like I said, that was years ago. I couldn't tell you. I remember being scared of things, but that doesn't mean that I was scared of everything. I don't know. Because there's a high chance that I most likely probably knew about this because I, you know, probably watched the game before. Also, when I was turning around, I saw these eyes, and it kind of got me a slight, tiny little startle. I'm surprised. I'm surprised BioShock's actually getting me to jump a little bit. That never happens because, again, I know pretty much everything in this game. There's no reason for me to be scared. But it's funny because when I was playing RE7 not that long ago, even though I know that game pretty well, there are moments where I don't kind of expect an enemy to be there. You know, because sometimes they're kind of a little bit, not random, but I'm forgetful. You know, I forget who I've messed with, who I've dealt with, that sort of thing. And then whenever that happens, I get caught off guard. And then I'm wondering to myself, scratching my head like a little monkey, what the hell did I do? You know, what did I mess up? Speaking of messing up, I messed up hard there. But not right there. Never mind. No, we got him. We got him. Now, usually I just electroshock this bitch and just call it a day. And typically just hack him, too, because there's going to be a couple of splicers that we can deal with if we wanted to. But we're doing it a little differently this time now, aren't we? By the way, yes, even though I'm playing on PC, as you saw, I did switch to controller. I don't know why I needed to mention that. Also, you can jump and get these. If you don't have telekinesis, you can just do that. Yeah, so don't worry about it. Don't worry. Uncle Alex has got your back. Did you see that? For a split second, did you see that? The wrench icon was upside down. I'm not going I mean, yeah, I am, but like, I'm not going that crazy. I can't be going that crazy. Alright, one of our first best tonics is going to be Wrench Junker, which ups your damage by a lot. Let's just say that. A good amount. A very good amount. And for those that might be new to this, which you probably aren't, I wouldn't be surprised. I would be more surprised if anybody was new, not just to the channel, but to the game, watching this, scratching your head, wondering, like, what the hell these different bullet types exactly do. Well, armor piercing does what it says. The other splicer would have been the guy that I took out in here, but no, he's dead now. We're still missing, of course, this side, so let's go finish that up real quick. Sometimes I play this in a very specific order, like a specific route that I take, but today I decided to not do that. And yeah, like I said, if you do this, then it's fine. Also, this counts as a different room. So if you shock the water in that room, it's a completely different room. It doesn't shock you in here. Yes, I know. Also, not really much of a speedrun trick, I would say, but something fun you can kind of do. I've tried to, like, use it as a speedrun thing before, but I think sometimes it's kind of hard to do it, but sometimes you can kind of just jump on a chair. Maybe. Maybe not these ones specifically. Sometimes you can jump on, like, specific objects. And I've had myself kind of not slightly fly a little bit. Not very far, but I've had that happen a couple times. That might have been the remastered one. Maybe it only happened once. Yeah, check this cabinet for anti-personal. You're going to want those. Those are specifically better against enemies that are human, or at least the flesh kind. Armor piercing just attacks, well, you know, turrets, security bots, big daddies, you know, the like. And then, of course, anti-personal just does more damage to flesh. And then regular bullets are regular bullets. They do about a pretty run-of-the-mill medium damage to just about everybody and everything. And, of course, depending on the gun you're using at that point in time, lesser damage, especially depending on your upgrades, will also constitute different types of damage. Also, why was there no nitro splicer? There's supposed to be a nitro splicer right there. What's going on? I think I just saw them walking by, too. Yeah. Yeah, I did. Okay. I was going to say, little friend, you are supposed to be active. But you are not. You are not very active in your community. Also, he killed my turret. That scumbag. I needed that, you dickhead. Now how am I going to kill the Big Daddy? Oh well, I guess we'll just have to use our static abilities to do anything. Dr. Steinman's aesthetic ideal surgery. And of course, right around now, somewhere, well, actually it's on the ground. What am I doing? Silly me. Stupid. Oh, yeah, you can find the other little text now. No. If you go upside down, you can see the texture there too. So, fun, fun, fun. This rounds up here. There's gonna be a guy up there. And you can actually, not this one. I don't know. I've never tried this door, but you can actually skip. I'm gonna try it out. I'm gonna see if I can do it. It's kind of hard to do. You might want to set it up too. So basically, wrench. Yeah, see, it's upside down. Oops. I think you want to wrench her first. Stop. I've noticed something too about this version. Is like if you press square to let go of stuff, you can't. You can't do that in this version. Like I don't play the original version that often. If you take this wheelchair and put it like right about, I don't know, right about there maybe, you can stand on top of it, kind of, and then sort of like float your way up across the fence. It's hard to do. It might be dependent on specific versions of these games, but you can do that. It's pretty fun sometimes. I can't prove it, but I've done it before, I swear. I honest to God swear I've done this before. And now I can't do it now because it's too late. And just in case. I don't know why this game's so weird. Why this version of this game is so bizarre sometimes. Well, it is the original version, so cut it some slack. Alright. Do we do static discharge today or not? I mean, I can't... Here's the problem. I won't be able to switch it off, okay? It only activates when you get meleeed. And, you know, fighting a big daddy would definitely help with that. Here's the thing, though. Well, it's too late now. I already have no options. I would need another tonic in order to switch that out with. Like, I can't just get rid of the damn thing for good and call it a day. No, I'm stuck with it. We are stuck with the tonics in question. Also, I'm going to finish off Snyman, and then we're going to finish off the level, and then that will be it for the episode. I'm not going to probably do this by levels. I'm going to be doing my usual 45 minutes. I did consider, unironically, playing this game in like a lower quality, like microphone and everything, just to kind of relive the vibes of the olden days of YouTube. Maybe even going as far as to make them like 15-minute parts. But I figured that's a little too silly. So, yeah. Don't need to do that. If you need some shotgun, right there would be your best option for that. Alright. Since I did waste my one anti-personal, that's perfectly fine. The good news is I have both telekinesis and electrobolt. You can run into here, well, you need telekinesis, but you can run here with incinerate if you wanted to. If you catch them on fire, you can just jump in the water. However, that's why it's best to have electroshock because, oh, I keep saying electroshock, I'm so stupid. Electrobolt, sorry. Okay, that's how we're doing switching the original version then. There's 2 audio diaries, so if you're looking for audio diaries, there's 2 in here. If I aim this correctly, I should be fine. But yeah, if you just go ahead and burn his ass, he'll jump in the water like an idiot. Well, I mean, he's trying to not kill himself. And that will pretty much just net you a win. So, alright. This one has an audio diary. I do recommend listening to them, though, because they're kind of fun. Out of all the games I've ever played, there should be another audio diary right now somehow. Am I stupid again? I may be misremembering things. Oh my god, I might actually be misremembering things. Something might be wrong with me. Genuinely. Yeah. I can't believe it. Most of the... By the way, the safe in here is just all medkits. So unless you really needed a medkit that bad, I wouldn't worry about it. And plus, you can just break those if you need medkits. So... I could have sworn there's like another corpse lying around, but I must have fucked up somewhere. Well... Oop. God damn it. Yeah, this entire place is just filled with meds. So, yeah, maybe I was... My god. I've forgotten. Just about everything. Also, hacking this guy is useful. But you can also just shock the water. And if you have static discharge right now, when they attack you, well, they'll just hit themselves instead. And just to get this out of the way, what are we going to be doing today? Are we going to be harvesting or rescuing? Harvesting does, at the end game, give you more points. But it's almost just negligible. So I wouldn't really say it's always really up to the player. I mean, I don't really care what anybody picks. You don't get that much more Atom from it. But you do get the Atom a lot quicker than you would if you rescued. So, in all technicality, if you really wanted to make the game harder on yourself, rescuing would be that. But even then, this game is honestly really not that hard anyway. So, it wouldn't matter. But I'm going to go with rescue because that's what I do. I think when I first played this game ever, I think I went for harvest. Because I think I remember watching gameplays after gameplays, waiting to get this game, tell my brother about it. I was like, oh man, I can't wait to get my hands on this game. It's so cool, dude. You can turn your hands into freaking ice. And then, of course, that's one of the things I never use. Yeah. I'm not an ice fan when it comes to BioShock. Because, well, to put it bluntly, I lose loot. Yeah, sure, the enemy stays still for a bit, but it means nothing if I can't kill them. Yeah, to be fair, again, 80 Atom is not that bad. You can get some decent stuff out of it. Oh my god, it's so weird not playing this game, or playing this version of the game, without those cursed director commentaries right there. I love the remastered one. Yeah, I still think it's just as good. Problem is that, I don't know, it just shows like, yeah, it's remastered. Not that that's a problem. I mean, you know, Crash Trilogy, for example, is a remastered game too, and those ones are great, but I'm weird, especially when it comes to the games I like. I'm very weird. Yeah, you can grab a lot of these things quite early. So, which one are we going to grab? Now, we can always make the choice of, like, between the two. Health or Eve. Armored Shell, especially this early, would be more worth it. Eve Link, not so much. So, I could always just... I'm trying to think. If I keep Static Discharge, that at least allows me to have... Ah, fuck it. You know, I kind of forgot that I could just switch out Static that way. I was thinking way too far ahead. I was thinking Gene Tonics. Switching type stuff. Bro, I was going to say, that's not the guy I'm looking to aim at. Like, you were just... I thought he was attacking the Big Daddy for a second. I'm like, I wouldn't recommend you do that, big guy. Also, unfortunately, we don't have camera. So, we are now stuck without camera. And just because I'm cool like that, I'm going to save the game and keep my promise. For now. Also, hopefully you have Electro Buck. Or, I keep saying Electro. Hopefully you have Electric Buck, because that would help you out a ton. And give yourself a few seconds here to attack the Big Daddy while he's distracted. And then make sure that you time your shots correctly here. You'll need to. And then hope to God that your goddamn turret helps out. And hopefully you still have a turret nearby. This is why it's important to have the turrets set up over here. Oh yeah, I was going to mention this earlier, but I've been playing so much goddamn Resident Evil 9 Requiem. I actually had a dream last night where I was being chased around by Victor from 9. And I was like running around a table, like trying to like escape him, but then eventually I found a thing where I wanted to use on him to get him. So, that was fun. Yeah, I was playing it like the game, I guess. It was very weird. I played it so damn much that my brain's starting to melt. So I need to fixate my brain onto something completely else. Oh. No wonder I didn't have a turret. Our little friend from earlier killed it. What a surprise. Yes, once we rescue, at least it should be 3. Should be. 3 or 4 little sisters, and we're going to get a nice little present. 300 some Atom. Also, there's this cocksucker. You can just do that. Oops, I had armored on. Bad idea. But look what we have. Perfect. Anti-personal. Just for his ass, too. And then once we're done here, we're out. We're living, boys. Now, granted, I could just do this a single segment, but... well... I hate to be honest. Well, not that I hate it, but... I can't tonight. I just can't. I would if I could, but I can't. Alright, on to Neptune's Bounty, and then that will be it. So, that'll be it for this episode. I hope you guys enjoyed. And yes, I do plan on finishing this game. It's BioShock. Come on. I still plan on finishing Pikmin as well, so don't let that distract you from what I plan on doing. Anyway, without further ado, hope you guys enjoyed. I'll see you all next time. So as always, take care, everybody.